Hello my dear YouTuber friends, and I hope you're all keeping well. Welcome to this new video. Now in this video I've seen people mentioning it in the Discord and in the YouTube comments as well about buying different kind of flight sticks, yoke, throttle quadrant, flight sim peripherals, not sure which ones to get. So I thought I'll show you my typical daily use setup that I use with Flight Sim 2020 and Flight Sim 2024, and even with sims like DCS World. My own typical flight sim, or my daily use flight sim setup, because I believe what I have provides me the most enjoyment and the most versatility I've found, especially in Flight Sim 2020 and Flight Sim 2024. So I'll be going through my own setup with a hope, if a few of you may be stuck on what to buy, I'm hoping this will help you with your buying decisions. So let's not dilly-dally, let's get on with this video. So let's start talking about the flight controls themselves, you know, flight stick, yoke, throttle quadrant, etc. And I'll get onto the peripherals later. Let's start with the Honeycomb XPC Yoke. I'll link my original review I did of this down below in the description. It's got an insanely good feel to it. Natural resistances out of the box. I don't need to put any sensitivities in these ever. I don't think I have, in fact. The translation from your movements with the yoke itself is just, it's got to be tried to be believed. It's got a lovely feel, lovely texturing to the yoke as well. It's just a joy to use. If you ever see me do a good landing, I do them quite often. I have done them quite often recently. A lot of it's down to this fantastic yoke system, compatible with both the XPC yoke, make sure it's the XPC Honeycomb, with both Xbox and PC. There's been a bit of a disarray with a bit of a model up with Honeycomb recently. They do seem to be making a comeback. I still think you can buy these with confidence, and the quality of them is beyond belief, really. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, paired with that, I've got the Logitech throttle quadrant. I just had a cheap Logitech throttle quadrant I bought for £30 or £40. Ideally, the Honeycomb Bravo throttle quadrant would be better for that. You get a lot more real estate, a lot more options, things like autopilot and radio panel stuff. I'll come back to these later. I do prefer the Logitech stuff there, but you get all that on the Bravo throttle quadrant. I'll probably buy one day. To be honest, I've been doing well with this. It's got good resolution. It's one of the oldest throttles out there, the Logitech throttle quadrant, so you have to bear that in mind. But it's got great resolution on the throttle prop and mixture. I enjoy using it. Lots of buttons down here. You can use this on Xbox via the Honeycomb hub connected to this and that. Just be aware, on Xbox I couldn't get these 6 buttons working, so you're losing a lot of real estate. I use these for all kinds of things. Active pause, parking brakes, for example, toggle nameplates. Goodness knows what. I use those buttons for quite a few things. So on Xbox, you're better probably going with the Honeycomb Bravo throttle if you're buying the XPC Yoke, and this one I highly recommend. By the way, it's got a switch panel built in. So what's that? Avionics, battery, lights, nav lights, and goodness knows what. Magneto there as well. Just a brilliant, you know, lots of switches and rocker switches all over the place here, which I use. fantastic. It's the Yoke system. I've got a few Yoke systems. I don't own any high-end ones, but it's just the one I most prefer. It gives me the best performance, especially in Flight Sim 2020 and Flight Sim 2024. To pair with a throttle, yoke and throttle quadrant, you'll need a good pair of rudder pedals. I still recommend for both Xbox and PC the Velocity 1 rudders. Bear in mind, they feel authentic, like a proper pair of rudder pedals. They're quite quiet as well. I've had these for years and I've had no issues. Any of these products, I'll put links down in the description just so I don't have to keep saying that. Brilliant rudder pedals. Just keep in mind, if you're using these on Xbox, you'll need the Velocity 1 flight stick or Velocity 1 yoke. They have to plug into the yoke or flight stick on Xbox and then connect that to your Xbox. On PC, you can plug these straight in, which I have myself. Highly recommended. It's got to be said, if you're buying the XPC Yoke and Bravo Throttle Quadrant, look for a bundle where the Charlie rudder pedals are included. I've seen a couple of different reviews, some good, some bad of them. I'd recommend these over. These are cheaper, but you'll have to buy at least a flight stick, the Velocity 1 flight stick on Xbox to use them. So keep that in mind. So those are my daily driver, day in, day out, especially with GA aircraft. That's my daily driver with a couple of additions. Now these next parts are going to be for PC only. And I'll start with two of my favourite peripherals of all time in terms of flight simming. It's the Logitech multi-panel and Logitech radio panel. Even if you own the Bravo Throttle Quadrant, I still think these is enough. The readout on these and the ease of use, if you put them within sort of easy reach, is brilliant. That's my heading, change my heading. Again, reviews of these down below. Altitude, vertical speed as well, indicated airspeed. All kinds of things you can do with that multi-panel. It's got flaps. It's even got a very fine trim auto throttle and all the buttons for your autopilot panel. You know, autopilot master and nav mode, heading mode, and goodness knows what. Get it for less than £100 easily these days. I'll try and put Amazon links down below in the description for you. High recommendation if you've got PC flight sim. If you've got the Honeycomb XPC, these can mount on top. I've got them screwed on top. They're brilliant. Coupled with that is the radio panel. Let's put that on a COM frequent. That's ADF, that's fine. Easy to tune radio panels. Easy within use. I use these all the time when I'm doing sort of ILSs or goodness knows what VOR flying. Swap them over. Brilliant. You got two sets of two different radios and effects. You can put this on distant measuring equipment. Nothing's showing up because I don't have it locked onto an active frequency, but it will show you the distance to the actual VOR or ILS. High recommendation for these both if you're on PC. Whatever you own, I think these are some of the oldest equipment out there and simply still some of the very best you can buy. Don't miss out on these two. Continuing on PC, of course, I've got my recent acquisition. It's the Moser Force Feedback. I'll link my recent video I did of that. When I'm flying Spitfires or helicopters, the force feedbackness you get with that, the sense of immersion when you're using this, is beyond belief. It'd be lovely to see one day something like this come out on Xbox. It'll be a huge seller. This one is highly recommended for those who want the ultimate immersion. I think particularly, like I said, flying a Spitfire or stick-controlled aircraft, that type of thing. You want to feel the air surfaces and how your aircraft is reacting when it's flying over certain areas. Absolutely brilliant. To go with that, I've got the Verpal. I think it's the Mongoose Throttle Quadrant. One of the highest resolutions I've ever encountered on a throttle quadrant. You ever see me flying helicopters? You're wondering how I hover so easy. Down to this throttle quadrant. It's It's one of the very best throttle quadrants I've ever used in a flight sim. And it goes for DCS World as well. For fighter pilots, this will be fantastic. Stack load of buttons. Some of the best quality out there. Now, the price does reflect on this. But you can buy this separately if you're after a good throttle quadrant. This one, I highly, highly recommend. It's just a beautiful feeling and performing throttle quadrant. For PC again. Now, forgive me, I've been unboxing and I've just found this, located this. It's my Tobii eye tracker. It will go on the bottom of your monitor. Still got the magnets on there. Go on, it'll just stick on. Sort of magnetic sort of strips that you put on there. And as you're looking around, moving your head when you turn it on, your view in the aircraft will just change. Even if you got VR, I still highly recommend this. I'll put my affiliate link to that down below in the description. Fantastic. So with it all, with all these different toys I'm provided with every sort of experience I want and need from flight simming. Now, of course, if you buy all this is probably going to be at least probably a couple of grand. Obviously, unless you have that kind of money, I wouldn't suggest you go out and buy the whole lot. Maybe build it up over time. But that's what I'm rocking. I don't really need anything else. I keep reviewing different systems. Again, this is the one I'll come back to time and time again. It just does me well. So there you go. One day I will have to build my cockpit, won't I? Let me know your thoughts. Share your own setup down below in the comments. I do hope this will be helpful to some people at least. Give the video a like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. And I'll see you soon.